Thanks, Seahawks fans, for clicking on today's Seattle Seahawks video. Before we get going with some rumors and news on the Seahawks, I want to let you guys know that we know over half of you guys watch the show and yet aren't subscribed, which does not make sense to me. You keep coming back and watching all the videos that we put out, but you're missing out on some as well. We're not going away just because the off-season is here. So if you want to stay updated on everything going on around the Seahawks, free agency, draft, and coaching moves, hit that big red button and subscribe today. Let's begin with some updates on the Seahawks' still ongoing offensive coordinator search. Two more names linked to the job. We'll begin with the one who just ended his playoff stretch, at least in terms of coaching. Ken Dorsey, the quarterback's coach for the Buffalo Bills. The report from ESPN is the Seahawks want to interview him. Well, his season's over now. That's going to be a lot easier to do. I think Dorsey's done a pretty good job, at least helping to develop Josh Allen and Cam Newton. Now, Brian Daboll has done a great job as the Bills' OC. He doesn't appear likely to get a head coaching job this offseason, which means Dorsey might want to go be an OC right now. He's kind of next in line for that job, kind of like Mike Kafka is for the Chiefs right now. But he's been the Bills' quarterback coach since 2017, was previously the Panthers' quarterback's coach before that, has also done some on-the-side training when he wasn't a coach, both after his time with the Cleveland Browns and before the Bills as well, working with various NFL prospects, helping them work off-season-wise on developing and fine-tuning their techniques. Was even a Panthers scout very briefly, and of course played in the NFL and for the Miami Hurricanes. His trend is very much going upwards as a promising young offensive mind who is going to get an OC job sooner than later. So I like that fit for the Seahawks. I also like the other name they've been linked to, Shane Waldron, who we actually put on our initial Seahawks offensive coordinator list. He has had contact with the Seahawks about being the offensive coordinator. He's been the Rams passing game coordinator since 2017. Also briefly held the quarterback's coach role, but that was only for a year for the Rams. It's time for him to become an offensive coordinator at some level. Don't forget, by the way, he interviewed to be the Bengals head coach in 2018, which was weird, but they just wanted to hire someone next to Sean McVay. The Seahawks have had some issues stopping Sean McVay's offenses, so why not hire one of his proteges? I think that makes some sense, even if the resume isn't that great. I mean, he's only a couple years removed from coaching at UMass, which, normally isn't the best thing ever. But the list is thinning for the Seattle Seahawks in terms of possible OC candidates. Various names they've been linked to or outright interviewed. Anthony Lynn is the new Lions offensive coordinator. Mike Kafka is going to stay in Kansas City. Doug Peterson's probably going to take a year off altogether here. Shane Steichen is going to the Eagles. He was Chargers OC, and they've hired Joe Lombardi, who Seattle, it was reported, had talked to him, and then within 24 hours had already become the new Chargers OC. So there are 6 names left out there then that have been connected or interviewed for this job. Shane Waldron and Ken Dorsey, the aforementioned guys there. Pep Hamilton, the Chargers quarterback coach, I'd like that hire. Frankly, these 3 names, those are your best bets because the other guys are Adam Gase, oh God, Dave Canales, who, okay, the passing game coordinator, keep him on staff, I guess, but making him OC is a bit aggressive. Kirby Wilson, God, that would be a yikes hire. We mentioned him on a previous video. That would not go very well at all. So who do you guys want as the Seahawks offensive coordinator? This question will once again be the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get the ad break, scroll on down and get your votes in. Now, those are some updates on the coaching staff. Now let's get into some potential rumors out there, some free agency stuff, if you will. One name that I saw mentioned, had to bring up, was Leonard Fournette, pegged as a possible target by ESPN Seattle. And on one hand, I get it. Also, right? Fournette, unquestionably, is coming off a down year. He averaged less than 4 yards per carry for the Bucs, did score 6 times, but he's a throwback runner. He's best lined up in I formation or single back, kind of Adrian Peterson style with the quarterback under center, which, by the way, I think deep down is desperately what Pete Carroll actually wants to do when it comes to a running back style. But on the other hand, it's cheap. I don't think Fournette's going to command a significant amount of money. You've got key free agents in Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde, and Alex Collins is already a free agent, by the way. So if you're Seattle and you want a more throwback, old-school style runner who's not that expensive, well, Fournette does make some sense. I'm not going to throw money at him, but in terms of a cheaper alternative depth option to pair with a Travis Homer, a DJ Dallas, etc., a Rashad Penny too, it makes some sense there. So get your votes in for me here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Do you guys want to sign Leonard Fournette? Y for yes, or type in N for no. Let's talk Greg Olsen now, who played for the Seahawks this past year and is now calling it a career. Announced his retirement on Sunday. He didn't have a massive impact necessarily. He helped a little bit. He got hurt. That impacted his limited stat production there in the end. But Olsen had a nice veteran influence there. Now Seattle's in a unique position where Will Dissly is there, Jacob Hollister is there, and Colby Parkinson is there. But remember, Hollister is also a free agent this upcoming season. So maybe it's just Dissly and Parkinson. Because Olsen took a pretty good amount of the snaps, those guys didn't put up massive numbers. Now, Pete Carroll has said that he feels confident in Will Dissly. He's been banged up a lot in previous years. This offseason, he actually gets to be healthy for what feels like the first time in forever. It's been a fourth-round pick on Parkinson, so they could have those two guys as their lead tight ends if they don't retain Jacob Hollister. But you're banking on improvement there. Because I think if you just go in based on the 2020 stats and production, you're a bit concerned about it, right? Where things get tricky for Seattle is, I think tight end is a need for this organization. However, it's not their biggest need. And they don't have that much cap space. And they are very light on draft capital. So because of that, I think tight end ends up being a lesser priority need for the Seahawks. So let me know what you guys think here. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being it's a very low-level need, you're not concerned about the spot whatsoever. 10 being you're freaking out, and you want to trade up at all costs to get like Kyle Pitts in the draft. That's a 10. Let me know what you guys think. Rate that tight end need on a scale of 1 to 10. Got another deal for you guys here from our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code you see right here, Seahawks125. That gets you two things when you put down at least $100. A, it gets you a 125% deposit bonus. You guys can do the math. You don't need me to tell you how that math works out, right? But if you put down at least $100, we will also hook you guys up with a Seahawks jersey. Email us, Seahawks@chatsports.com if you're a new BetUS customer once you sign up deposit. If you have questions, by the way, in terms of like, wait, what is this? And I didn't explain it well, it's all good. Email us as well. We'll respond to you. Seahawks@chatsports.com. I'll make sure that email gets put in the comments and in the description. Wanted to wrap up today's video with some more in-depth analysis of just how badly banged up Jamal Adams was this year. He revealed all of the injuries he had this season, how he played through all of them or almost all of them. Now, quick note here, he's going to be fine for the 2021 season. But Adams was banged up this year. Week 1, hyperextends his elbow. Ouch. At various points this year, multiple dislocated fingers. He had some surgery on that. Remember, he had that strained groin that cost him, about 4 games this year. Dislocated one shoulder, and then in the other one, suffered a torn labrum. He had surgery for those issues as well. So a very injury rehab-filled offseason coming up for Jamal Adams. But again, he's going to be fine in time way before week 1 of the 2021 season. But give him a lot of credit. Adams was gutting it out, being out there when those injuries, mostly the torn labrum, if this was like, early in the year, maybe he takes some time off. But come playoff time, he was not going to miss opportunities to play since he desperately wanted to be in the postseason, which he'd never done before for the Jets. So I give Adams a lot of credit. Hopefully in 2021, he's a little bit more full or healthy throughout the entire season.